So yeah, we were asked to answer how technology can re-engage citizens with government and civic life, and I'm glad I got that question because that's exactly the reason my group at Microsoft was created, to answer that. Brad Smith, the general counsel of the company, saw the energy behind Civic Technology and saw the new conversations happening, especially in cities around the world, where things are happening in new ways across sectors, and realized that the company really needs to be part of that conversation, especially where it involves technology. And so we do that through partnerships across sectors. We work with cities, with mayor's offices, and we work in a variety of cities across the U.S., in New York, in Chicago, Boston, the Bay Area. We have some folks in D.C. and Seattle as well. So one way that technology is helping civic engagement is bringing together adjacent fields. At the center of this big cluster Venn here, you probably have two things. You've got the Knight Foundation, who has brought us all together across these sectors for their events, for their programming. And you also have technology. Because across all these previously very disparate fields or adjacent fields, we're all thinking in new ways about how to use technology to better do things in our democracy, really, to be more effective, to be more inclusive. And that's really what civic tech is, right? It's when we apply the new possibilities afforded by technology towards our shared problems. So as a technology company, Microsoft wants to make sure we're playing our part in that happening. And I'm just inspired personally because every single day technology gives us new powers as individuals and groups. And I think the folks in this room and the folks in civic tech are the ones asking, how do we use those new powers for good? And so technology helps us break down silos. If you go to New York City, the City of New York's LinkedIn page, they link to this PDF. And if you're a citizen, this PDF is a disaster. It shouldn't be on you to find out which sub-office it is going to solve your problem. Or if you're a passionate citizen, who you're going to contact and if they even have a phone number. And so this is sort of the 20th century way of looking at cities and government. But we believe civic tech is a little more like this. This is a network view of different sectors where red are the governments, and they're working with green for-profits, blue nonprofits, yellow we have individuals, which, as I said, individuals are more empowered. They can sometimes have more impact than some of the other entities in this graph. And what we're doing is we're mapping and we're crowdsourcing who's who and who's doing what and with whom they're doing it. Because we know that collaboration is key. And it's rarely, when we have a victory, it's rarely one office or one person behind that. And so we've launched this at civicgraph.io. And like I said, it's crowdsourced. So please take the time today and add yourself to this map. It's one way that we're trying to bring more people into the civic tech fold. It's a fairly small sector to date, and we'd love to blow the doors off of it. And part of that is how can we bypass spending years in this space to know who the important actors are, who the Knight Foundation is, who the Code for Americas are. This graph quickly gets you the answer to that, even if you're brand new. And so the data is open. There's an open source code on GitHub, and there's an open API, so you can build other applications with the same data. We're working on a network view and a map view. I'd love to see other applications like a Crunchbase for civic tech with the same data. So technology gives us the excuse to come together across sectors that were previously a little more distinct. My group's very lucky. We get to work with academics and startups and governments and nonprofits. And we believe that we need that full array of perspectives and skills to take on the challenges. The challenges we face today definitely span sectors, and so our solutions are going to need to as well. Anthea Watson-Strong was really excited when she discovered this formula that boils civic engagement down. It's the probability that a citizen will impact the outcome times the benefit of the change outcome to the citizen, plus the sense of civic duty, that piety that Kate was talking about, the obligation to vote. If that's greater than the cost of a civic action, a citizen will take that action. And if you haven't watched Anthea's PDF talk where she goes into this at greater length than I have today, you definitely should go back and watch it. But I want to bring it up because I'm concerned that technology and information technology makes us focus on reducing the cost, which is really important work. If we actually want to increase the rates of voting and other civic action, we need to make it convenient. But at the same time, technology is providing us right now the opportunity, as we redesign all of our democratic processes, to actually improve the underlying system in a way that makes people also consider the probability that they'll have impact. And so we have two paths here with technology. We can change the aesthetics and make websites faster which we definitely should do. Government websites should be beautiful and fast and easy to use. But we also have a rare opportunity in history right now to change the underlying systems. And we're working with some pretty centuries-old technologies in terms of how we organize our democracy. Can we bring some of those to bear on making democracy more representative, on making the result of engagement worth doing and not just the process? So, the interested bystander, the disinterested bystander, a lot of the folks in my regular life outside of my career circles are pretty intelligent but pretty disengaged in terms of civic action. And when you go to harangue them into taking civic action, they sometimes have great reasons why. Sometimes they totally understand the Electoral College and they know that their vote that day actually won't matter. And so the question is, what if we start from the point that these are intelligent people who aren't engaged and they just don't see it as part of their identity like we do to do it every single day? How does it change the conversation if they might be right in some cases? And what do we need to change to prove them wrong? So those of us here, we have it really good. We have the privilege of, first of all, using really cool new technologies in exciting ways, whereas some of those same technologies are disrupting other people's livelihoods. And we also, if we're here today, feel the agency that we should be one of the ones redesigning societal institutions. And that's super cool and fun, but not everyone feels that agency. And I think we need to do more work in terms of reaching way more people. And lately I've been thinking about some of these universal experiences: food, music, sport, entertainment, and the billions of human beings they reach. And then I look at how many people we're reaching. And we're falling so short, which is fine. We might not compete with pizza. But, can we appeal to people in similar ways beyond the obligation, beyond the duty that actually, gets them engaged? One tiny way that we're trying to bring a new generation into this civic tech field and blow the doors off of it is we gathered together a network of faculty in New York City, in the Northeast, who are willing to embed civic tech into their regular mainstream university courses. So if you're teaching statistics, there's no reason you can't use the city's open government data as the dummy data. If you have student projects, there's no reason you can't do outside partnerships with organizations working in civic tech. So we really want to introduce way, way more people and students, a whole new generation, to these civic tech groups that we get to work with. Is that my timer? Okay, it's just a phone. I'm like nowhere close to done. So at MIT Media Lab, I got to work with Ethan Zuckerman, who is really great at coming up with frameworks like this one, thick versus thin engagement. Individuals are coming in, thanks to technology, at the top of the ladder of engagement sometimes. Coders are contributing to crisis situations. Black Lives Matter is coming in at a whole new level. We're not starting at the bottom rung, coming to a nonprofit for help as much as we were in the past. So how do we work with that? One way technology, I feel, is not helping is that when we work with information technology, it's all too easy to think that providing information alone will do it for people. I think we over-rely on the informed actor theory of change, that if everyone just knew, they would do things. And we say we know that people's core sense of political identity, like Dan studied at the Media Lab, who you really are as a person and what resonates with you, or your immediate closest social network, or having an actual organizer come out and solicit you to do things. Those things make a huge difference, more so than just presenting information. And so one thing I just want to be wary of is that our theory of change includes getting the information and then taking the next step as well. And lastly, we got to keep smiling. So this is hard work, and it's hard work in the sense of time, too. Technology moves quickly. Democracy's moved pretty slowly historically. And so we need to be around for the long haul. I'm extremely honored to be in the room with all of you, and I've just seen the work you're doing across the board, whether it's something you've been loyally toiling on for years, or today was the first time that idea had a dollar to its name. I think there's a lot of good we can do together. We have some of the best civic minds gathered here today, so I'm excited for that conversations this afternoon. And I think working together, we can come up with ways to fundamentally change the system to make the disinterested cynic wrong and happy to be wrong for once. Thanks.